I'm just getting a kick out of this. You're not working enough, Mr. Pugh, to make your payments. And yet the reason you can't work is because they don't have IOP, or at least you were under the impression or somehow didn't want to go at night, or we're under the impression that they didn't have it at night. And it shouldn't have interfered because you're not working enough. If you were working enough and you were thumbing your nose at us, that would be even worse. How old are you?
31, Your Honor.
Did you graduate?
No,
Why?
I dropped out in 11th
Well, you
grade.
got to figure it out. Listen. So I need to say what I just said again. You're not working because I forgot that we were off record. You're telling us you couldn't do IOP because you had to work and they didn't offer it at night. Now I find out they offered it at night. And frankly, it sounds like you haven't been working enough where any kind of IOP, day, night, morning, noon, 2 o'clock in the morning, was going to interfere with you. Right?
I may have misspoken, Mr. P.
Well, I want to know how much he's worked. And this is a double-edged sword for him because if he's worked, he should have paid.
Right.
This is not pay if you choose to. This is not pay if I feel like it.
So Judge, Mr. Pugh's also been battling, you know, his addiction, and he's doing very well with that. He drops clean, isn't that correct, Ms. Wild?
His last test, he didn't drop, Your Honor.
He didn't drop?
Hang on a second. Hang on. The record's off again. Wait just 1 second. Why don't you guys have a seat until we can get this squared away, okay? Everybody keep it down a little bit, please. Can everybody keep it down a little bit, please?
Yes, Judge.
Please. Hey, listen. You guys want to talk, you can go out in the hallway. I'm serious. Don't make me ask you again. Still having a problem. You have to set up a portable recorder, so. Okay, all right, let's go. We're back on record on Q. 21B87514 and 22B141450. So I have Mr. Pugh, I have Ms. Murphy, and I have Ms. Wilds. And I think what bothers me here, counsel, is I told him, it's my fault. This whole thing is my fault. No, it's my fault. Really, it's my fault. Because I think Mr. Pugh here has taken my good nature and taken advantage of it. He was here back in February of 22. I told him to pay $350 by February 11, then $175 bi-weekly beginning February 25. This is after the initial order. This is after I ordered him to pay $175 bi-weekly at the time of the initial sentence, and that was to begin September 27th. I assessed additional costs of $100, did nothing else. He came back in front of me here. So just so you may understand, I don't think you had anything to do with this before, why I'm so irritated is I extended probation for 12 months until September 1 of 23. No additional costs, no additional probation fees. This is back on, I think it was back on July the 11th. And I said pay $40 per week beginning October 14th with all money due by August 1 of 23. And as you point out, I tell them, you don't have the money, come talk to me. He's never come and talked to me. He's never come and talked to me. I did tell you that, did I not?
Yes, you did, Your Honor.
Not once, but probably at least 3 times so far, at the time of the sentence, at the time of the first violation, and at the time of the second violation, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
You didn't bother coming and talking to me on any of those, right?
He did contact Ms. Wilds to ask for a court date, Judge.
On the
In
payment,
November.
wait a minute, on the IOP plan or on this one?
On the payment plan, Your Honor.
When, did he
on
do
both of
that?
them.
Defendant was non-compliant with his monies as well as his IOP. I let him know that I could schedule a court date, which is what we're here for.
This isn't a birthday party. It's not a wedding. We don't send out invitations. You just ignore orders of the court, and I'm accepting responsibility because I've been too kind. I've been too lenient. I've made him pay no penalty, even though he's playing around as though he has until 2089 to pay everything here. Mr. Pugh, I'm going to go aside here and tell you a couple things. We make our beds. That's what we do. And then we have to get in them. And you made a lot of decisions that were inappropriate or wrong so far. And this, sir, is what I see in the criminal justice system. And I tell kids when I go to these court to school programs how important education is, because invariably those who don't think education should fall in on the spectrum anywhere between 0 and 10, even at a 0.2, they end up mired in drugs and alcohol. And then the next step is to come into the criminal justice system where they can't escape because they have no education. They don't have drive. They'd rather sit around and do drugs and drink alcohol. And I'm just telling you, this is a sad case. Now, you can go your whole life doing this if you want. You could be 88 still doing this if you want. You can do that. I can't force you to do anything. I can impose consequences if you don't do things. And frankly, I'm at that level right now. I'm at the level where I've gotten where I'm starting to think you're going to jail today. But I can't force you. The only one that can force you to do something is you. You can either decide I'm going to live in poverty the rest of my life or I'm not. I mean, you don't have any physical disability, right?
No, I don't.
You're well spoken. I don't know what to tell you. You can't, if you're losing jobs in this economy, in this period of time, when basically it's an employee market, I don't know what to tell you. That means your job performance is so despicably bad. I think it's my fault that I've been too kind. I really do.
May I say something?
Not yet.
Okay,
Mr. Pugh needs to hear from me.
yes, Judge.
Mr. Pugh needs to understand, I'm not asking you to do something. I'm not suggesting it. I'm not requesting it. And this isn't about me. It's about the system. This is our rule of law. This is what we do. This is what we have. And you're not coming close to complying. And not only that, when somebody just ignores me like this and doesn't even take advantage of coming in and saying to me, Judge, I don't have the money. I know you've told me this 3 times, at least, probably more. I need to set up a new payment plan. It tells me I've done something seriously wrong. It tells me I haven't conveyed to you how important it is that you act responsible as it comes to these cases, and you show just a slight amount of respect and courtesy. Judge, I don't have the money. Can you help me? I've applied at 39 places. Nobody will hire me. If you think it's hard now, wait, just wait. Just wait. I don't see things getting better. I hope I'm wrong. But I just don't appreciate this. I have to tell you the truth. I do not appreciate this. When you want to get my gander up, you start acting like you're bigger than the system. And I don't care who it is, defendants, police officers, prosecutors, defense, I don't care who it is. So what am I supposed to do now again, Ms. Murphy? Just say this is okay? He's thumbed his nose at the courthouse for 16 months. He's decided he's not going to comply with rules. He has no rules. He can do what he wants to do. I don't think so. So somebody better have some money. And somebody better give me some big, strong explanation, because I know, like I said, I could have, to take away everything I have, take away my high school diploma, I could have 8 jobs by noon. He doesn't want to work. And that's fine. You want to live in poverty? That's fine. But you have an obligation right now to pay this party that you frauded to the tune of $1,900. They should have charged you with a lot more than a 90-day misdemeanor. Frankly, you could have been charged with a felony. Should have been charged with a felony. And you're getting out of it unscathed, and I'm sitting here trying to work with you and tell you, yeah, you're going to hear me, Mr. Pugh. We're just getting started here. You don't do anything? You do nothing on this, basically? I don't know what to do with them. I'll be honest with you. I really don't. I can't continue to cut people breaks that are not trying. He's not trying. He's not trying. I mean, he's just not trying. I have a problem with people that are not even trying. So I want to know where this money is. I want to know who's coming up with this money. I want to know when this victim's going to get paid that's been defrauded. At this rate, at $200 every 15 months, do the math. Do the math. You owe in the neighborhood of, $2,474. If you pay $200 a year, every 15 months, that means that this would take you somewhere in the neighborhood of about, I think, somewhere in the neighborhood of about 15 years to pay all of this. So I want some answers, Ms. Murphy.
So Judge, hopefully Mr. Pugh will have a job this afternoon at 3 o'clock, making $17 an hour. He lives with his mother and stepfather in Woodhaven. He begins one-on-one counseling with his therapist tomorrow on a weekly basis. He attends NA meetings 2 times a week, usually. He's got a sign-in sheet here. Judge, my short dealings with Mr. Pugh, he seems like a very nice and earnest young man. He had a blood infection in his body in 2018 that caused him to have all of his teeth pulled, Judge, and that sort of set him on a downward spiral, and he's trying to work his way up. He's voluntarily single. He's trying to work on himself before he gets into a relationship with anyone. I don't know, Judge. I really hope that you will give Mr. Pugh another chance to
How many
make
chances can I give him?
consistent claim
He's got a warrant
payments.
out of Taylor. He's got another warrant out of Taylor. He's got another warrant out of Taylor. He's got another warrant. He's got 4 warrants out of Taylor he hasn't taken care of either. And I'm sorry that he's gone through physical problems. I really am. But it didn't stop him from committing a fraud 2 years after the problems emanated.
It did start him on an addiction, however, Judge. He got addicted to the opiates after the.
Is he off the opiates now? Have we had any positive tests?
No positive tests. What we've had is dilute tests, Your Honor, and CNUs, which are the could not urinates. So when he does show he's negative, but when he dilutes, there is no second sample often given, and we've had at least one CNU. I thought I printed his result from December 5th. I did not, but his most recent test, January 2, he showed he was dilute. He did not stay to give a second sample.
See, you cannot, this is just the pattern. This is the pattern that we see. You can't urinate, as far as I'm concerned, you are positive, you're using. I don't know what I'm gonna do with Mr. Pugh right now. I really don't. Do you have any thoughts, ideas?
Yeah, I will say all his other terms and conditions, he is compliant with, in regards to his community service. These are the aspects of things that are sobriety driven or might concern the testing, which council brought up, as well as his treatment. He's been well aware of all of this. Nothing you said to him is probably something I haven't said to him. He's claimed transportation issues. I've given him options of working midnights. He has no transportation in order to complete the IOP.
How can you have transportation when you're not working and you have no money, therefore you have no car, therefore you can't pay for the insurance and the gas? How can you do that? I mean, somebody's gonna have to tell me the little secret here, short of winning the lottery or inheriting money. How can you do that?
Yep, in the guidance center itself, we've had other clients in which they've offered Ubers and lifts to get them to treatment. This is something where I think Mr. Pugh was simply just resisting getting into treatment. He completed inpatient. He was to get into the IOP right away. So the first opportunity he had to get into the IOP dragging his feet wasn't until about November, December.
Where's his interview today?
In Southgate.
Okay,
It's a
so you
packaging
worked
company.
where last? Tell me where you worked last.
I worked for Miss,
And how long did you work for Mr.
for quite a while, about a year.
I don't want to hear quite a while or a little while or a long time. I want to hear specifics. You left there a month ago or lost your job a month ago. That means sometime on or around December the 9th, you lost your job. How long did you work at Mr.? How many weeks? How many months?
About 9 months, Your Honor. And I
9
was-
months. So you were there. You were there since March of 22 until December of 22. Is that a fair assessment?
Yes, Your Honor.
He was a contractor, Judge,
And how
doing
often were
jobs.
you working?
About 4 days a week, Your Honor. I was getting picked up by
How
another
many
employee.
hours? I don't want to hear that. I just want you to answer my question. How many hours were you working per week?
30 hours a week, Your Honor.
All right, well. Somebody's shaking their head back here. Who's this?
His stepfather, Judge.
You want to come up here or not? You don't have to. You can if you want. He needs to be straightened out. I have a feeling he's not being truthful.
He actually is.
Well, you can't talk from back there. You were just so animated with your shaking your head. I didn't know if you were saying he didn't work 30 hours. What's your name, sir?
Yes,
So why were you shaking your head? I'm curious.
he actually only works when the guy wanted to work 20 hours, maybe,
So
maybe
20
pushing,
hours. That's,
maybe pushing.
okay, so that seems more logical, Mr. Pugh. So now,
Not when he wants to work, Judge, when the
When
employer
it's
wants him.
not him, it's the
Okay.
employer.
I hear that we have choices. I've never seen so many jobs out there. I really have not seen so many jobs out there. And if somehow, some way, because my employer is only calling me in to work for 20 hours, I would say to myself, I know that judge sitting up there isn't going to be happy if I'm only working 20 hours, because I know that judge, the way he's talking, is going to be working 20 hours till he's dead, whether he's a judge or not. And that means if he's working 20 hours at 80, that means I should be working 80 hours. That means I don't have enough hours. That means I either get 2 more jobs working 20 hours, making 60, or I get a job working 50 hours minimum, especially since I have an obligation to the court. Mr. Pugh, listen very carefully. It's your life, son. It's your life. It really is. This is not just about the victim getting their money. This is about you showing a lack of responsibility. I know. You're not supposed to talk like this anymore. We should all be free spirits, do what we want to do when we want to do it. No, I don't believe that. Sorry. I'm not going to buy it. Not going to buy it. So if you're working at a place 20 hours a week, that's only 80 a month. 80 times 15 is $1,200. That's poverty level. Even if you're working 12 months a year, that's $14,400. That's not enough to put a morsel of food in your mouth, hardly. Even if you're getting free rent, free cars, free insurance, free utilities, free gas, free clothes, I don't think you could survive on $14,400 a year. So what are you going to do about it? Are you going to step up and get tough and say, hey, it's time for me to get to work? Or are you going to use this as an excuse? Now, I want you to listen to what you've told me here. And I know I'm keeping these people, and I don't mean to. But I want you to listen to what you've told me so far. You couldn't do IOP during the day because you were going to lose your job. You're only working 20 hours.
That wasn't every
Listen.
week, Your Honor. I'm sorry.
Well, it's a double-edged sword because if you were working a lot, you should have been paying. Right?
Right.
If you want to tell me you worked 80 hours a week, I'm going to have a bigger problem with you not paying. So you've been gone for a month. Where have you applied?
I applied at numerous jobs.
I don't want to know that. I don't want to know numerous, few, lots, several. I want specifics. I want to know where you have applied since you've been out of work for a month.
I've applied at Lowe's, Your Honor. I've applied at Myers, Your Honor. I applied at Solo, AJM, Packrite.
That's 5.
I don't
can do that
remember
by
all the
11
exact
o'clock
names.
today, but go
I
ahead.
apologize. I do not remember every exact name. I have
All right,
my
you came up with
resume.
5, and you should apply for 5 every single day.
I have a resume.
Where did you work before then? So you worked there from March to December. Where were you working prior to March of 22?
Yes, they're a contracting company.
How many months did you work there?
I worked there for about 2 years.
How much were you making there per week? Per week, not per hour, per week.
Roughly $400 or $500 a week.
Why didn't you pay anything on this?
Your Honor, honestly, my mind wasn't right until I went to myself and I seek treatment, and I've been doing good. I have a different mindset. I'm looking at things different. I'm trying to take things a lot more serious. I've gotten myself in such a deep hole for screwing up the past few years, and I'm just trying to get myself out of it.
Well, that's good to hear. At least you're recognizing it. I'm setting a sentence date in 2 weeks. Ms. Murphy's we're gonna set it when Ms. Murphy's here. I'm adjourning this sentence. You're gonna go over and surrender yourself at Taylor too. And you tell them Judge McNally sent you over there. And I expect you to go today.
Judge, Kathy's just filling in for Mr. Haynes today.
Okay. Well,
Judge, I'll be here on the 25th and the 26th. That's 2 weeks from today, the
adjourn sentence, we can make it the 25th, Lisa. And
Okay.
defendant to have employment. Defendant to surrender on warrants. Hey, guys, sir. That's what happens. We got Zoom. Now we're acting like we're at a football game. Huh? I'm just telling you.
Your Honor, for sentencing, can he bring this proof of treatment since we don't have the completion of the IOP and proof that he started his outpatient?
He's gonna bring proof of IOP. I'll just indicate sentence adjourned. Gonna bring proof of IOP completion. I expect you to have that over here by the end of the week. Defendant by end of week. Defendant to surrender to Taylor. Defendant to have a job. I expect you to come back with money. You understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
I think why I've gotten so irritated over this is I cut you break after break on this, and your breaks are over. I'll give you January the 9th, January the 25th. Is that what we're doing, Lisa? At what time?
Yes, 8:30.
At 8:30 in the morning, both of these cases.
Thank you, Judge.
We understand one another?
Yes, Your Honor.
You got your whole life ahead of you. You're 30,
31.
but you got to get going. I mean, you can't do this the rest of your life.
I understand, Your Honor.
All right, we'll see you here January 25th. I'll work with you. But if you ignore me again, I promise you, you're going to do the max on each one of these. They're different offense dates. I don't have to run anything concurrent. I won't.